Irfanji, good morning. We are live now, so you can start. You're muted. You are muted, Irfanji. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sorry, thank you. Thank you. All right, on the note, we'll kick it off. Namaskar and greetings to all of you from Sydney, Australia. My name is Irfan Malik. I'm the Global CEO of InQ Innovation, as well as National Chair for Australia-India Business Council, Startups and Innovation Chapter, and also, a great part of the Australia-India Innovation Bridge. I'm pleased and privileged, honored to bring together this session on International Women's Day week celebration. I know it's been phenomenal amount of events happening across globally. Of course, India and Australia, even me being at the Startup Hub, we had major launch events. And I'm pleased that we are, got this occasion to bring together some of the amazing things that we would like to showcase. First of all, before I kick off with the proceedings, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered today, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. On that note, again, welcome to all the panelists and speakers and startup founders, women entrepreneurs who have come on board, and also the number of women entrepreneurs and startup ecosystem supporters who have come on board, logged in on this Zoom webinar, as well as watching this live stream on Facebook Live. So thank you again. Welcome to the session. As I mentioned, it's an honor to be part of this occasion to announce the launch of We at InQ program with the support from the Australian government, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, the Australian missions in India, and also the launch of Womennovator Australia, which is an exciting event which we're looking forward to. And also, we are looking forward to the startup showcase as well of some of the women entrepreneurs and founders who are looking to scale internationally across Australia and India. But first of all, we would like to kick off this session with a very interactive conversation of women entrepreneurs and women leaders who are actually driving women entrepreneurship, global women entrepreneurship, and women in business, and championing the cause as well. So on that note, I would love to welcome Sarah, who's the Trade Commissioner at Austrade for South Asia, and a champion of women entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurship program across Australia and globally, definitely representing and championing the South Asia region, and based in Dubai and India. Welcome, Sarah. I also want to welcome Tripti Singhal, who's the champion woman entrepreneur and ecosystem capacity builder out of India, championing the Womennovator movement or a revolution that she's been driving. Welcome, Tripti. And also, I would like to welcome Hayley Saddington, who's entrepreneur in residence. She's also director of Women Entrepreneur Association in Australia, runs her a couple of startup scale-ups, and a great supporter of Australia-India Innovation Bridge. So welcome, Hayley, on that note. Thank you for coming on board. So let's kick off this interactive session. Let's start with Sarah, if I may begin with you. Obviously, you're operating across different regions or different countries there, South Asia, and also wearing the Australian hat. If you may share your journey being a woman leader and facilitating trade and investment between Australia and the rest of that region. What has been your experience of dealing with women entrepreneurs or supporting them, and any of the personal insights that you would like to share, and give a bit of a background of your role in championing that cause?
Thanks, Irfan. So as you mentioned, I'm the Trade and Investment Commissioner for South Asia at the moment. So we really help Australian businesses on their internationalisation journey and in accessing opportunities in international markets. And I think, we're doing quite a lot to support women in business and promote what they're doing in international markets. So it's been a very positive experience so far, engaging with women leading businesses and looking to support their journeys. In terms of, I think you were saying some of the advice that you'd give so far, really think about, I would say, your internationalisation journey early on. Consider who pays for your offering and leverage the resources that you have to access insights about different markets and understand what that pathway to market is. At a high level, that's what I'd like to share.
Thank you, Sarah. I think there are quite a few insights that you shared, but we'll probably reflect a little bit more, delve a bit more deeper into that as well as we go. Let me invite Tripti for you to share your story. Tripti, if you can mute and if you can share your story of, Womennovator program and how you've been scaling and a bit of a background of yourself as well.
Thank you so much, Irfanji. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here today among everyone. And happy Women's Day week, Women's Day and week, which we are celebrating, because I think it's just starting and we keep celebrating, we don't stop. That's what I can say. Womennovator is quite committed towards that fact. And so a very quick, understanding on Womennovator is that I've created myself a lot of women entrepreneurship cell, a lot of entrepreneurship committees for big industry houses. But then I thought that this is what I think I really need is a platform which is there, which is not looking for members, not looking for membership fees, but really willing to help everyone who comes in place using technology. So Womennovator is a virtual incubator for women. I keep telling them that virtual has not come because of COVID. We launched it quite before COVID started. We are one of our flagship event, which we are really proud of is, and with the new leadership qualities which we promote, is as a leader, we need to listen, not talk. So with that, we have created a competition called StartupPitch competition, which is one of our 10 initiatives. Wherein we go to small cities, big cities, we listen to women. We have already heard almost 1,000 plus women in the last 6 months from different, almost 30 cities and 30 sectors. We left with a few more going on. And we have accomplished people like you all, part of those panel competition where they listen, hear these women, and then tell us how they can help them. And of course, there are awards which we also do to the people who win. So this is about one of our flagship program we do, and we really want to do across the globe. Here you actually get to know what is that they're doing and what is the challenge they're facing. And to conclude what I was saying on understanding and listening to all of them, because we do a incubation program for them who get selected in these competition. Major challenge today is, dear panelists, is of course getting funding and getting market access. They want to grow, but they don't know how to grow and what to do to grow. So I'll bring my, Irfanji, over to you.
Thank you, Tripti. Appreciate it. And you've touched on, in fact, sparked off the funding conversation, which we'll probably get in a bit more deeper. Thank you again, Tripti. Haley, over to you to share your story, obviously coming from regional Australia, now into city, not only with your startup scaling, going global, already gone global and taking another startup global, and supporting hundreds of women entrepreneurs, inspiring them. If you want to share your story, please.
Thank you, and a privilege to be here and be celebrating and highlighting amazing women today as well. Looking forward to the showcases at the end. I, as a female entrepreneur, am on my second company and know all the hard things about doing it. And I think now it's one of my missions, as Malik said, to streamline this process for other women, showing them how to scale, connecting them to who they need to connect to scale, and I guess, streamline and make this process much easier and faster. And it's something I wish I had around me when I was starting. So very much for myself in the medical technology sector, and changing the healthcare equality piece there, but wearing many other hats, such as the entrepreneur in residence with UNSW, and highlighting through various committees and companies here in Australia, women in business, and helping them along the way.
Great, thank you for all your great support as you help many women across Australia, India, and also for yourself as well as you look to scale into servicing in India, but also other markets as well. Welcome aboard. Let me delve a bit more deeper, and I think you touched on, in fact, one of the glaring facts, set of facts that I was going through earlier this week, as naturally looking at what are the challenges and opportunities there, for women entrepreneurs to scale and grow their business. Of course, there'll be things around, startup funding, early stage funding challenges, number of women entrepreneurs who carry through beyond MVP through to rest of the stages, that's been kind of dropping off as well. So looking at the broader perspective and the road ahead, where there's been a phenomenal awareness being created with International Women's Day week. What do you see are the challenges that's there, but looking more positively, what are the opportunities? Especially, we've got a global platform here. How do you see that pan out and, address some of those challenges, more work towards some of the opportunities for supporting women to scale and grow through the business? So if I may ask, Sarah, for you to share your insights as we ask the other panelists as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and look, I think across, just saying a variety of sectors, Australian female entrepreneurs and senior decision makers are really building global competitive organisations. There's tremendous opportunity to support and connect women entrepreneurs, as this helps them, quickly embrace global opportunities. I think being able to consider the internationalisation journey, as I was saying, at the start, and understand how an offering can expand and scale globally, and tailoring and iterating that to meet that bigger need is important. And I think, on that note, expanding overseas is really often seen as a key driver for success. So considering that and considering it early. And I agree, to your point, we all sort of are on the same page in terms of the fact that funding can be difficult to access, and that is a limitation to that ability to scale that offering globally as well. But, certainly considering, the opportunity to scale internationally and consider opportunities globally by leveraging the resources that are available and the insights and market information as well, like something that Austrade provides, is definitely, something that can inform those opportunities and that growth too. Back to you, Irfan.
Thank you, Sarah, for elaborating further on that. I'll probably come back to you about some of the government role, some of the possibilities of funding as well in a tech. Haley, if I may, Haley, my call in for you to share your insights on the challenges and the opportunity that you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah has highlighted the need for funding, and one of the biggest barriers is funding. And it's not as if we don't have grants here in Australia to support women, whether they're coming in from India or whether they're just here in Australia. I think the challenges with grants is, one, you've got to have the time to write them or employ or, put someone to the writing process itself. Two, they take a long time to come through. So we've got to consider other sources of income and, getting that capital in as we need it to grow. And I think that's been our greatest barrier. And it's, even though we're we've done this before, a serial entrepreneur, second successful company, we still find it hard. And it's that getting through that stage of building the prototype and getting to the MVP level is, I think, where we need to be supporting women the most. It's where capital is the most hardest to attract. There's grants around that, but again, very competitive. So I would find, I think, capital in essence is the biggest barrier. And second to that, the need to support women into India is tremendous. And so, for example, with us aligning with InQ, we're able to have people on the ground who we're learning the culture and the new environment and market we're about to launch into. And I think that's paramount as well. So having those connections to overcome those barriers.
Great. I think you touched on early stage funding, especially towards MVP and just beyond. Go to market. That stage where we are shaping a commercialization, working towards commercialization. That's critical, and that's where we've seen a lot of gap in funding. We'll definitely explore that, and we've got probably some ideas to throw, and maybe policy recommendation to the government as well. That way, Tripti ji, if you can share your insights of what are the challenges that you see as women entrepreneurs scale or grow their company from early stages through high growth ventures. What are the challenges you see, and what are the opportunities that we can address some of those challenges?
Yeah, I think I just touched upon few points on this while I was introducing Womennovator. Definitely, we are very, very sure and confident after listening. One, somewhere we have noticed that most of our women, they are not someone who just started. They started and they are struggling with, scaling up in getting the funding, right funding to reach to a bigger, and to become a bigger company. So I think startup challenges I'll just avoid talking about, because most of the cases, 90% of when we interact with the winners we have selected from 1,000 pitches and all, majorly they know what to do. They are sure about the idea. They know what they want to produce or do if they are in service. The challenge is how do they market and get the right tires, get the right opportunity to pitch themselves. Because in India specifically, Irfanji, if you see that we are meeting so many people, it's difficult, your time is limited. You have 24 hours, you're going and meeting people. You don't know whether that will get concluded. I don't know how it works in Australia, but definitely this is a problem in India. So many people all showing that we can help you. We can definitely help you and grow your business. But then after 6 months, you end up thinking that, okay, nothing happened. So in this, there are two sides of it. The person who's ready to help you, are you continuously taking the guidance? A lot of time we see that those women, they get disappeared or they come meet. Then after 2 months, they'll come and they need support and all this stuff. So the continuity with your mentor, the continuity with what you're expecting, a timeline, a very clear timeline documented has to be done if you are having a mentor or someone whom you're collaborating and doing things with. It may extend to 6 months to 1 year, but then you will see results. So this is on the side of the woman who is definitely quite impatient with growing things. And on the other side, because the kind of ecosystem has developed in the last 6 years, I think people are, even if they have invested 1 lakh in the company and they're claiming to be investors, has actually, are a lot of women reaching out to them, getting funding, then they don't even know what kind of funding they can get. There are no sources to tell you that, the person you're going to is someone who has just invested 50,000 in a company or a relationship, a strategic investor. So the ecosystem is there, but it's quite a lot now. And you don't know where to go. You don't know how to make the best of your time. So I really feel this is a bigger challenge now. Then finding someone is, even the investors are getting 100, 200 information memorandum every day. Even they don't know how to, shortlist and whom to, go for. Because Mind and the limited team with venture funds and angel funds too. So I don't know, there is no upfront answer to it, but this is definitely in the funding and the marketing side is definitely what I'm again and again, we need to work. And maybe someone like, someone I can see all of us here, we all need to use technology to get rid of these issues some way. Otherwise it's impossible, specifically in India with the population we have. Yes.
Thank you, Tripti. I think it will come a bit more in detail. We'll explore that. The insights you shared. Sarah, if I can, again, I know you have to leave shortly. If I may ask you to make some recommendations, some kind of advice on what are the possibilities to address that early stage funding gap that's happening and where, there could be a focused funding for women entrepreneurs in that early stage, help them accelerate or even build that ecosystem collaboration as well. So what are your thoughts that some recommendation that could help alleviate that challenge of early stage funding for women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, look, I think the funding point is a big conversation and a big discussion to have, and isn't something probably that's resolvable with a couple of top level points. But to the point that was just made about it also being broader than just that, the conversation around marketing the product, ensuring that the offering actually gets to the right customers and partners, I think that's a really big consideration and something that should be looked at really carefully at the start, at that MVP stage, ensuring that you're considering who the right partners might be. And to the point that was made earlier about it not just being about grant funding as well, but what other sources are available outside of that. So, looking at what the ecosystem has and identifying different areas within that to connect. The other recommendation really for businesses is to look at who has done this successfully. There are a number of female-led businesses that have been able to scale and internationalize, and they're being profiled by, the likes of us, Austrade and others, and understand what their journey is like. So connect to them as a mentor. So I've said quite a few different things there, but really understanding how your offering is going to meet a market need at the very early stage is probably going to shape that journey for you. Understanding what the global ecosystem looks like and who you might be able to partner with or gain mentoring from, and really connecting with the agencies that offer insights and support to help you along that journey to other sort of key things that I would say. And on that point, Austrade is running a big International Women's Day series. So we are trying to share the stories of female-led businesses that have been successful, especially in accessing opportunities in the India and broader South Asia market. So I'd encourage the audience to tune in and hear those stories and take away some of those lessons and insights that could be applied to their own journeys as well.
Great. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing very useful insights there. I think very relevant as well, looking at the ecosystem partnership, what they can leverage to scale, not only funding, but other collaboration as well that can assist. Thank you for that, Sarah. I'm conscious that if you need to leave, we'll probably try and take one more question. Haley, if I can get you to share some insights of the startups you've dealt with and how they've gone about raising some funds through these stages. Have you come across some of those startups who have been able to successfully raise funding and how they've gone about, and any insights on that funding part?
Absolutely. The key in how we coach, teach and mentor, it's really simply how can we quickly and without spending much money at all build as much value around the company as possible. The challenge with female entrepreneurs and any entrepreneur in a new company is they may have a product or idea, but they don't have a lot of traction. So traction brings value. And so the conversations and the mentorship I drive back is how can we build that value? Is it a partnership with your key, key body? So it might be the Australian Physiotherapy Association or the Australian Breastfeeding Association, partnering with these key bodies to gain traction, to gain media around raising your profile. And all of these things help, obviously, to not only validate the process, but show how much your product or service is needed and can lead to investment or further traction to then gaining grants, further conversations, strengthening conversations to have with seed or angel investors. And I think the other avenue is to have a look at what accelerators or incubators are available that you can connect in with. I think they're incredibly valuable as well.
Excellent. I'm going to explore, and maybe I can grab Sarah for 1 minute and Haley as well, maybe because I wear the Australian hat as well. One of the things we talked about today as well earlier in another session is, obviously any entrepreneur is compromising either a job or another assignment that would keep the oxygen for the livelihood, the bills paid, we call. So if there was avenue where, just like MVP funding, there is an avenue where, or even we had JobKeeper, Job Seeker, where it wasn't, full blown, salary, but it was definitely a small package which would retain them to be keeping the momentum with their startup as they seek funding. Is there something like that could work where we keep the oxygen inject oxygen into these startups or entrepreneurs during that phase so that they can continue, they don't drop off, but also build those support programs focused on women entrepreneurs to give them, a special consideration during that phase. What are your thoughts? Quick thoughts, Sarah, on that.
It's an interesting question. Having a program, look, it sounds great. Having a program that can really support female entrepreneurs and making sure that they can balance things that I think every startup has as well. To the point that was made, any business that's starting up, a lot of them are bootstrapped and are trying to get things off the ground. So being able to have some support, it sounds great. But also, putting the Austrade hat on, it's really about, like what was just said, making sure the offering is validated, making sure it's meeting a market need. I think those things are equally important as well. And that's, thinking about the businesses that are looking to internationalize and enter markets. I think having programs around that is equally as important too. But what you're saying makes sense totally.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I think you touched on the right chord there as well. The three validation we look for, obviously there's a customer validation, there's a global market validation, and early investor validation. If we can work along with ecosystem partners, various collaborative groups, in fact women-led ecosystem partners as well, in this case, we are able to enable that between Australia and India, leveraging that, and also leveraging Austrade as well, because you have a great presence, especially from an Australian perspective, in these markets, to seek support and make those validation as well. Thank you, Sarah, for joining this session, and look forward to your support ongoing for this program between Australia and India as well, and most importantly for the women entrepreneurs. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hayley, if I may ask you your thoughts on, will there be a job seeker, job keeper kind of a funding? It can be obviously across all entrepreneurs. It doesn't mean only women entrepreneurs. That would keep the oxygen flow there, and the entrepreneurs to sustain themselves so that they don't feel that they're missing out or losing out. But it just gives an added trust. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I would, that would be something that would happen in my dreams, but I'd be loving to see that come to light. What that allows is this nurture system that we need to provide around entrepreneurs to be able to create. Often entrepreneurs, as you know, are wearing so many different caps and hats at one time. It often takes away from the creativity part, and that's part of being an entrepreneur. But to have even the simple things addressed, such as the food on the table addressed, so they don't have to worry about that, so they can actually start and grow their business, I think that would change. It'd be a game changer for innovation. So I'd be very excited to see something like
Excellent.
that.
I'm definitely going to make some recommendation. I'll definitely look forward for Women Entrepreneur Power to kind of back that as well, because there are some private programs, pre-accelerator program who do that. But this probably needs to be done at a larger scale. And I think there are options for a match, when I say fund of fund concept, which I know in India as well, it is several states are coming up with, where that can be leveraged to create a base payment during that period of MVP through to commercialization, which will keep the food on the table, the bills paid, the oxygen flowing, whatever it is. But they can sustain on. It's not an abrupt end or a drop off or a pivot, that they can maintain that momentum. So definitely we'll see further on that, Hayley. Simply, if I can call you in again, what are some of the things that, India has emerged as the startup destination and the boom, and it's just phenomenal and great to see the support all around from the government. Each and every state government and the federal government, they're all backing. The corporates are backing, the venture funds are backing, the market is backing as well. Even through COVID, we've had 11 unicorns, which is a great story about India. What are some of those vibrant things that's happening in India? And also this is to address and invite women entrepreneurs from Australia to look at India as a market, even during the early stage of validation. What are your thoughts you want to share?
So Irfanji, like I said, definitely we are lucky to have us as a placed startup destination, and I would compliment Invest India team who's been done a complimentary amazing work with the kind of normally you don't expect a government organization to work that way, and it was amazing how Mr. Deepak has actually built complete Invest India and implemented, and then promoted and supported by Niti Aayog with Atal Tinkering Lab, Atal Innovation councils, and also complemented by METI, Ministry of Information Technology. So all these push all of a sudden, and a lot of incubators are coming in. My concern here is I met when entrepreneurship was handed over to Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. I was sure there would be a lot of confusion. And the first time when I met the secretary, I told him one thing and he was surprised. I said, I'm very happy that we'll have a lot of entrepreneurs applying and want to become entrepreneurs. But even they're 1 year or 2 years and they are not sure whether their ideas is something, there is a validation required, and that should be done through the government if possible. Any repository today, if I am doing an idea which already existing, then if there is a repository which can do a quick search like we do on patent, trademarks and all, if it can do a quick search on whether this idea already exists, is fine that is already existing, or whether this idea, if existing, who is already doing, have they closed down, is there any financial backing, or they have gotten so many years, what is that I am doing different? So I'll save a lot of my time and a lot of my exercise in creating something which is already existing. I can start with the step 2, then step 1. So I really feel the validation part can be taken up by government agency or private institution, but that's the need of the hour. A lot of my Indian students, a lot of my Indian people are starting something which already existing and claiming that they are all doing something innovative because they didn't do a great search on what they were planning to do. So that is definitely one insight. And secondly, I'm really sad that even though our Ministry of Women and Child is there, but we have not even a single scheme for real women empowerment from the ministry, and it all goes to MSME, and we get lost in MSME. Ministry of MSME. So my concern is that we definitely need a lot of focus on creating more and more women entrepreneurs, even social activists for that matter. There are a lot of social activists which are there, but social activism have to result in policy change. If that's not happening, we all are doing small things, and that get lost as we grow old, as we lose energy levels. So yes, Irfanji.
Thank you, Triptiji. I think you've touched on some important message there. Obviously, there's great support from various ecosystem partner, Gov, Invest India, Niti Aayog, and also that's great. But also important that the ecosystem provides that validation so that they just don't go pursue a pathway where they believe it is innovative and then they realize that there's too many players in the market. They need to have their USP and the differentiation and the market validation as well. So I think that's again a role for the ecosystem to play, an important role. So I recognize that. Thank you. I might switch over and take a question from the audience. This is from Ash from Austrade. The question is for Haley and Tripti. Women founders are known to spend less money than that doesn't belong to them, so are conservative and humanize their investors. So they're definitely bootstrapped and they're conscious of the spending. So rarely end up with a unicorn. So obviously there's a fact that there are fewer, if not, if I may say, comparatively fewer unicorns with women, led unicorns. I mean, we've got now in India, Baiju as where co-founder is a woman, and also in Australia we've got Canva. Melanie Perkins is a globally recognized unicorn, but the numbers are low, so they're rarely ending up with a unicorn. So what are your thoughts? There's also another comment made that however women can raise funds successfully for brick and mortar business. Why are they finding challenge for raising investment for tech startups or the startups, I suppose?
So I think to break that down slightly, we know women spend more wisely. It's statistically how we work. Whereas men, we know, and again, it's statistically proven that if they get a lot of money from a VC or an angel, they do tend to spend it quite quite quickly. They build a team very fast, and that can often result in running out of money. So I think women are successfully able to build from brick and mortar because we perhaps do it with a more caution. We're less riskier to invest in due to the way we just do things and execute. And that's not to say that we can't be unicorns or highly successful sub-unicorns. It just is, I feel like how we're programmed. And I think that's a hugely positive thing because there's less risk in placing your money in women-led businesses.
Yeah. I think I second that, and yeah, definitely something which we'll explore further as well as we go into the rest of the session. I'm conscious that we are just spilling over time into the packed agenda we've got. So on that note, we'll wrap up or pause this interactive session, and we go into the next part of the agenda. And we might come back as we hear from the startup founders as well, and we'll take Q&As as we go. So on that note, let me again thank you all the panelists, Tripti, Sarah, and Haley for sharing your insights. And there's a long way to go, but there are some great cues that we've heard from you all today that we can take in. In fact, I'm keen to put some policy recommendations as well to both Australia, India government, and as well as the ecosystem bridge partners as well, to see how we can shape some of these outcomes and demonstrate that we can have more women-led entrepreneurs through post-MVP to scale up as well. And this bridge to help us scale these women entrepreneurs as well. Thank you again. Going on to the next part of the agenda, one of the things, again, a crucial part of this event and this week is to recognize the work that we've been doing at InQ with the Australian missions in India. And I'm really glad and honored to say that we have this platform today with the launch of We at InQ program, which is the Australia Market Access Program for Indian women entrepreneurs aspiring to scale from India to Australia. So let me, on that note, invite the program lead and coordinator, a co-part of InQ Innovation India, operating out of Mumbai, Kanish Kumar. Kanish, if I may invite you to share some insights of the program and some of the outcomes being planned, some timelines. And then I would love to invite Michael Costa, representing the deputy the mission in Chennai, the Australian consulate there in Chennai, and we'll also hear from him. So let me invite Kanish. Kanish, if you want to share your insights on the program, that'll be great.
Thank you, everyone. Great hearing from all the panelists during the first session. Just a quick intro regarding myself. I'm a proud Australian alumni based in Mumbai, India. Studied at University of Newcastle. I've worked with Australian India and many other Australian businesses during the last couple of years. My journey with InQ started about a year ago. And it was exactly a year ago that Irfan, Dilip, and I met when the ideas for We at InQ was sown. So what we intend to do with the program is to ensure women entrepreneurship is promoted, supported, and mentored during their startup journey. The program will aim to identify women-led startups that are exploring global market access, and will be supported through InQ partners and networks in their endeavor. There are 3 key stages to the program. The first is, of course, expression of interest. Very soon, we are going to launch our portal, where we'll invite, there we go, we've already launched it, where we'll invite expressions of interest from women-led startups in India. This is the first year of this program, and at this stage we are only inviting Indian startups that are led by women. Going forward, we may look at making it a cross-border program. So at this stage, we'll invite expressions of interest from startups, which will start shortly after launch. In the middle of April, we'll announce which are the selected startups, and the selected startups will go through a founders boot camp, which we intend to conduct in Bangalore and Kochi at this stage, which will happen in May 2021 over weekend. After this boot camp, 3-day boot camp in each of the cities, we will identify few startups that will go through our Australian market access program that will be supported by InQ mentors and network. And finally, it'll lead to launch of first cohort of V8 InQ startups in Australia. So for us, for InQ, the focus is the launch of businesses, Indian startups within Australia, and we are heavily focused on that business outcome. And I think all of us as part of InQ are going to hold ourselves responsible and accountable for that. And in the end, I would like to thank the Australian Consulate General for the support in making this program a reality, all the InQ's mentors and partners. And as I said, as a proud Australian alumni, I want to congratulate the Australian Consulate General in Chennai for conceptualizing the Australian Alumni Grant Scheme. And this just goes on to show the key role that alumni like Irfan, myself, and many others play in this bilateral relationship. Thank you, Irfan, over to you.
Thank you, Kanishka, for sharing an overview insights. Yeah, the key things here, we will be launching the program and call out for applications, expression of interest that we'll be seeking. We work with partners like Womennovator, Women Entrepreneurs Association, Tech Ready Women, Incubate, and other ecosystem partners, T-Hub, Kerala Startup Mission, Thai Bangalore, NASCOM Center of Excellence of IoT, all of them to really curate that program and help us get the impactful outcomes. So thank you again, Kanish, for leading that. And on that note, again, as Kanish mentioned, we're thankful to the Australian Consul General's office at Consul General in Chennai, who've been kind of leading this support for us and this program. And let me invite Michael Costa, who is the Deputy Consul General from Chennai, the Australian mission in Chennai, to share his thoughts and insights on the broader program and the objective behind the Australian mission's direction there as well. Michael, over to you. Welcome again, and thank you again for all your support from you, Janaki, the Consul General, and rest of the team as well. So really appreciate all your support. Over to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Well, Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaskara and Namaste from the Australian Consulate General here in Chennai. It's an honour to be here and to have been invited by InQ Innovation. You do a great job, and not only have you put this event together, more importantly, you're launching We at InQ, an Australian market access program for Indian-based women entrepreneurs. I honestly can't think of a better way to celebrate or continue the celebrations of International Women's Day than through this initiative, which the Australian government is a proud funding partner. There's roughly around 50,000 registered startups in India, but only 10% of those have founders that are women, and only 17% of those have startups that are backed by venture capital that are women as well. So the male-dominated venture capital industry can be quite hostile and a hostile environment for many. So I'm very pleased to see that there are initiatives like this that can provide a safe space, support, mentorship, and practical engagement with women entrepreneurs. Attracting women and girls to STEM and providing an environment for them to thrive and progress is really a core objective of the Australian government, which we're trying to deliver under the Australian Academy of Science Women in STEM Decadal Plan. It was launched in 2019, and the plan is a 10-year roadmap to achieve sustained increases in girls and women's participation in STEM. And to help support that, we also have a Women in STEM ambassador, astrophysicist Lisa Harvey-Smith, who is doing some great work in that space as well. Advancing technology cooperation between Australia and India is a core tenet of the comprehensive strategic partnership that was announced last year and signed by both Prime Ministers. And the startup ecosystems are really at the heart of that, especially in the vibrant cities of Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad, and across Australian cities as well. This is critical for being able to take that technology cooperation forward. We're all acutely aware of the impact of COVID-19 on our economies, on geostrategic competition, on our way of life, not to mention the tragic loss of life and livelihoods over the past year, which has disproportionately impacted women. But COVID-19 has also highlighted the importance of technology, the importance of working together, supporting each other, and innovating with like-minded countries that can provide a safe, secure, and prosperous future for our citizens, and also to accelerate our own economic recoveries. So I and the team across India are very optimistic about the future. We look forward to working with you, the startup partners and startups across both ecosystems, to really take the relationship to new heights. And whilst we're obviously engaging virtually, we're keen to do that in person, hopefully soon. And I also look forward to hearing the success stories of the We at InQ participants once they're announced. And I really hope that it's a great program and we can see this supported by women entrepreneurs in Australia and India, and create this real cohesive network of mentors to enable better outcomes for both countries. So I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Great work to the InQ team and their partners, and a very happy International Women's Day. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Michael. Really want to come and appreciate your words and all the support. I mean, I would say, I mean, I can't, see any other government and the mission, like yours in Chennai, that you're doing amazing work, reconnecting with the alumni, but also the ecosystem, and helping, essentially building that bridge using the alumni and the diaspora as well. So definitely all appreciation and commend your team, yourself as well, to really champion and support all of us. Thank you again, and look forward to shaping successful outcomes, ongoing outcomes as well. Thank you again. On that note, so again, I'm keen to hear from the rest of the ecosystem partners as well, and as we shape this program forward, and I'll look forward to really curating an impactful outcome, first of its kind, that we are launching. So we definitely would seek your support, and we'll shape some of these success stories as well. Thank you again. As we move to the next part of the agenda, which again I'm excited about, is something which has been in the burner, in the making for some time, and someone who's again inspired me as well with women entrepreneurship. Tripti, who I met her about 3-4 years back at one of the events in Goa. We had a Seaside Startup Summit, and that's when I heard about Womennovator. Since then, we've been dreaming and aspiring about launching Womennovator in Australia. We've been speaking about it. In fact, even over the end of the year, last year, obviously, we were thinking about it, but COVID hit, and we were looking at opportunity and avenues to do that. But things, even in spite of that, we've been virtually, there's been a lot of progress that's happened. But I'm really pleased that today, part of the International Women's Day week, we're here to launch another, movement inspired from India, but launched into Australia, to really help us bridge that ecosystem, the innovation bridge that we've been talking about, foster that collaboration, foster that scaling up support activities, and then also work alongside with ecosystem partners in Australia as well. So obviously there's the vision there to see that Womennovator obviously has established a great footprint in India, across India, more than 100 cities, 10,000 plus women entrepreneurs. I mean, I'll get Tripti to talk about the program a little bit more, and the aspirations and the visions to go global. And I'm pleased that today we are announcing the launch of Womennovator Australia, and I've got Tripti and her team, the board as well, along with my team, Dilip, and the rest of our ecosystem partners and our directors as well on this forum. So welcome, Tripti. Over to you to share some of your Womennovator story and your global aspiration, and talk about Womennovator Australia. And yeah, we'll definitely declare at the end, after we hear from your board as well, declare Womennovator Australia launched.
I think I'll be happy to first of all congratulate Irfanji's team for bringing and making this happen, and the whole team here and my board. Definitely is a big day for all of us to celebrate, and we've been eyeing with Irfanji to launch our Australia initiative, and I'm really happy that today we are launching this officially. Although the work has been going on, we have so many meetings all this while with Heli and our counterparts, and I'm really happy. That's what I can say, and I'm sure all our board members who have joined today are also very keen and very happy. Womennovator, like I said, we are very focused on a virtual incubation for women. We wanted to be there for every woman, whether it's an entrepreneur, social activist, or leader, because every category has their own challenges, whether it's creating and helping the entrepreneur grow their business in terms of selling their products or getting better deals from different international and nationally, getting good orders. This has been quite a good focus aim, and that's the reason we wanted to create a women distribution network all across India and outside. And that's definitely will always be a key focus. But secondly, for our entrepreneurs who are more on the technology side, they look for funding. So definitely India is more on the receiving side when it comes to funding, and very poor in terms of if women founders are there to get funding. So these are the two aims from an entrepreneur side. But as a social activist, like I said, public policy, how to scale them up, how they should be part of politics, and how they're holding important positions is my key goal. And we are quite excited that since Australia is pretty strong in terms of having leaders who are women in important position, we learn a lot from our counterparts. And thirdly, from the employee part, women who are leaders, but they're part of the organization, they are CEOs and all. We wanted them to be part of boards of important companies, and that's where I feel that it becomes very important that we get the right guidance, the right interaction, right leadership and grooming sessions for our women from the right people. So that's over on my vision, and we have our more than 10 initiatives which are going to support these initiatives. We have launched our leadership management system as well, LMS, which the women can actually learn from, whether it's a finance related issue or it's a it's a related issues related to market. So who to approach, when to approach, a matchmaking process where they can get in touch with our 1,000 plus jury members who've agreed to support and mentor us, our partners in across 100 cities. So I would stop here. As said, I'm very excited to launch this today with our board members here. We have Blossom Kosher ma'am here, one of our board members. I would request her to share her vision and her journey with Womennovator. Blossom ma'am, please.
Good afternoon to you all. It's really wonderful, and it's really a wonderful experience, and I must say it's something that we've been looking forward to, and I'm so glad that we have launched today. And of course, my experience with Womennovator is amazing. There is Tripti, she's a wonderful leader, and she really leads us, and it's really great that we have touched so many lives, so many people, that really it is not just the people that are doing things, but in all walks of life. And we really, and where they're getting mentoring, they are putting up their products, they are really doing a great deal of service. It's really amazing the way and she's really taking the women with her, which is really amazing. And for India, we definitely need that, and we need Womennovator. And I'm so glad that we are now collaborating with Australia, because I have my products in Australia, the Aroma Magic products, which is an aromatherapy line. and it's going to be wonderful. I know Australia is huge. It's got a wonderful market, and it's going to be really very, very beneficial for India and, of course, for Australia. I think it's going to be a win-win for both. Thank you. That's really wonderful, and I'm so happy to be associated with all of you.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
So I would now request Pramod Sinha to please share. Yeah, please. Pramod sir, a board member. Yeah, please. So you're muted. You're muted now. So thank you, Blossom ma'am, for I mean, I would like to compliment Blossom ma'am has been kind. She's been supporting and so many women already training them in beauty and wellness segment. She's a no name, still very modest, and I'm really, very I take pride to have her on our board. We have Mr. Pramod Sinha with he's been working with apex body of one of our PSUs, Scope, which has been whether it's their communications or overall, structuring and supporting the PSUs companies of our of our India institution. He has played a very important role. Pramod, over to you, please.
It was really delightful listening our team leader, Tripti, who is so passionate to take this woman team, not only Delhi, not only any particular city, but throughout India. And when she met me, let me also introduce, fortunately I could serve the entire gamut of Government of India, where I used to handle more than 240 enterprises and coordinate with all 33 ministries of Government of India. And the first entrepreneur program, I was the national coordinator when there was no skill development ministry. So that kind of exposure I had, handling safety fund and all. So when I joined our apex body of the country, Scope, Standing Conference of Public Enterprises, we had very good interaction with Tripti. And when this concept of creating Womennovator came, we were really delighted. Looking at the population close to 50% and the kind of genuine leaders women are and the kind their presence, we definitely need a push from all corners, right from government, other stakeholders, society, and definitely global partners like Australia. And today, after hearing that we are launching our Australia Womennovator, it's really delighting, it's a really happy moment for all of our team board members and all our members in the current Womennovator board are carrying very rich experience from the diverse background, be it education, be it entrepreneurship, be it employer himself or herself. They all carry very rich background, and together they are creating a kind of value proposition for the society. And definitely we have started a bit late, but the kind of passion and the kind of intention the entire team is carrying, we are sure that it is going to mark a difference in the society. And we are sure that more and more women entrepreneurs will get motivated. They will get all kind of leadership and other directions from our team. And we are available for them 24/7. As Tripti has already said, she is so passionate. She is always available 24/7, and the entire team is available 24/7 to help our women entrepreneur. And the kind of global trade is happening, and international relations are going to change or going to be more strong. The relationship between India and Australia, the kind it's happening or shaping, we strongly feel that there is more room for more trade. There is more room for more interactions, more communication, and definitely we can work together to create a kind of global entity in the form of Womennovator, where every city or every nation will feel happy to see that Womennovator has created a kind of platform which is well recognized, genuinely working for development of women and society which have been leaving behind by virtue of their not significant presence. So with these words, we would like to communicate thanks to Irfanji, Michael, Kanisk, and all team of Australia Trade, Australia Womennovator team, and we convey with our core of heart that we will be always available to support this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pramod Sinha, sir. That's really thankful for your presence in the Blossom Culture, ma'am. I would request our chairman, Anil Khitan, sir, if he can also share words of wisdom, please.
Thank you so much, Tripti. A very good afternoon to each one of you, ladies and gentlemen. To my board colleagues of Womennovator in India, Dr. Blossom Kochar, Pramod ji. It's really a moment of great happiness personally for me that today the Women Entrepreneur India is finally in Australia, and Australia and India really share very intimate ties. Today itself, no, it's not today. I think it's day after tomorrow that our Prime Minister is speaking with the American President on this recently formed quad between India, Australia, Japan, and the United States. So it shows how our two countries feel the need and feel the necessity. And post the pandemic now, or say towards the end of the pandemic, I think we all human beings have realized that today we cannot progress, we cannot live happily until we understand that we are interdependent. We are not independent. Okay, we have our own independence, but we must learn to collaborate, because together, if we walk far, far longer than alone. And this combination of entrepreneurial spirit between India, be it a man or a woman, and Australia, I think could be an explosion going forward, provided we seriously implement what we talk. Because I'm a firm believer that unless you walk your talk, it is better not to talk. Only what we can walk, we should talk, and we should definitely work in the spirit of developing entrepreneurship, because we all know of various studies. Today, I can quote the study of McKinsey. And McKinsey had said that if I think 41% of the women are in workforce, then they had given an astronomical sum of trillions of dollars, which would be added to the world GDP. I forget the amount of dollars. Because see, we must understand today, to conclude, if I see my wife, I think she's an entrepreneur. The way she manages the house, the way she manages her HR activities, that is all the staff of the house, the way she manages the environment of the house, the way she manages the finances of the house. So if you see, all aspect of a corporate comes into your house itself. So today, each women, I think, are far better entrepreneurs than men. They are very, very diligent. They have a microscope in their eye. They are very true and honest to themselves. And with these words, Tripti, thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak and to say one line about my little daughter, like, Tripti. That Tripti is a dynamite. And I think Austrade has found a right partner in Tripti. And I have full confidence in Tripti that she'll take it ahead. Thank you, Tripti. Back to you.
Thank you, Ketanji. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Blossom ma'am. Thank you, Pramod sir. It's really so great to have your words here. It was really very, very important for me that you all are here. Thank you once again. I missed a few of our member, Archana Gupta ji from KI Industry, and Mr. Haldia from Mr. Haldia. And I would like to really thank Irfanji for making this happen. So first and foremost, congratulations and thank you so much, Irfanji. And Kelly, come forward and really, we are definitely looking forward to work. Now, we've announced we have a lot on, like Sir said, let's do the work first and then talk about it. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot once again, everyone.
Thank you, Triptiji. I wish we were there in person and, congratulated and handed over the registration. But I'll do what I can do digitally just to, again, launch Womennovator Australia officially. I want to just share that it's officially registered under ASIC and with ATO and here. So we're officially here, launched in Australia. We are begin to do business in Australia in partnership and collaboration with our ecosystem partners, Haley, Christy, the team here, been phenomenal. And we're looking to scale across Australia and support and build and strengthen the bridge with India and Indian women entrepreneurs as well. Okay, thank you again. Appreciate Tripti for all your vision, passion, energy, and to keep us all going as well, focused. And I look forward to shaping some great success stories together across this Australia-India Innovation Bridge for women entrepreneurs. Thank you again, Tripti. On that note, let me invite my co-curator and collaborator, Haley, if I can get you to facilitate the startup showcase from Australia. Haley, if you want to introduce the two startup founders from Australia and for them to share their story, and then we will move on to the Indian startup showcase as well. I'm conscious we are running short of time, but again, we'll do our best. Thank you. Over to you, Haley, if you want to take it away and introduce the startups and the startup founders.
Thank you so much. I think our mission today to wrap up this phenomenal, co-launch, and congratulations to Tripti and Malik on that, is really to shine a light on our female entrepreneurs. And we've chosen two from Australia who are creating impact and addressing global problems. So I would love you to do a favor as the audience, and I encourage you to learn more about these fantastic companies, and I'll post their links to their websites in the events in the chat, so you can do that. So first up, again from Sydney, Australia, I would love to introduce Etta Watts-Russell, founder of Lactamo, a corporate lawyer and mum of 4. I don't know how you do it, Etta. It's just phenomenal. So Lactamo's aim is to really give mums the best success in breastfeeding together with the best experience. So as a mum myself, I really understand this mission that Etta is on. So globally, we know the benefits of breastfeeding. It's strongly evidenced, yet there's a declining rate of breastfeeding. So addressing that decline is Lactamo. Etta realised that there's a simple, scalable solution with an IP protection that she can bring forward. So they designed a product to really care for and really specialise for breast tissue and address the problems that breastfeeding comes with. A winner of the Australian MedTech Actuator Award, New South Wales State Government grant recipient, and announced by St George as Australia's best new business idea in 2020. Etta was selected with the Going Global program for expansion into both India and China, which is why it's my pleasure to connect Etta into this phenomenal ecosystem as we strengthen the Australia-India bridge. So Etta, firstly, over to you to explain a little bit more, and if there's anything we can do to highlight your company today, don't hesitate to ask. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Haley. So yeah, I'm Etta, I'm the founder of Lactamo, and it's been great to hear just now, firstly about barriers to scale and how these can be overcome, and also about the positivity of choosing to challenge in businesses. So these are two themes that really resonate with me as a founder, and I'll get back to them. But first I'll talk about Lactamo. And as you said kindly, Lactamo is all about breastfeeding. Rewinding a couple of years, I'd found the experience of breastfeeding all of my 4 children to be surprisingly difficult. I'd got into motherhood assuming that childbirth was the only difficult thing, but what I struggled with the most was actually breastfeeding. The more mothers I spoke to, the more I realized that this was actually a much wider problem. and indeed a global problem. And the quote that I often come back to is UNICEF, who reported that no country in the world meets the recommended standards for breastfeeding. And that's just not good enough. Women need help, and I knew that I had a simple and scalable solution. And I suppose I just wanted to help other mums have a better experience than I did. So I developed Lactimo, and Lactimo is a specialized massage ball specifically designed and developed for breastfeeding. It has hollow surface lumps, and it's filled with gel that can be heated or cooled, and it's simple, reusable, and affordable. Essentially, it combines temperature, movement, and compression in breast massage, addressing all of the most common breastfeeding problems, such as oversupply, undersupply, pain, blocked milk ducts, engorgement, and infection. So as you kindly said, Hayley, we've worked with healthcare professionals, industrial designers, and medtech commercialization experts to make Lactimo a reality. We've finalized the production of prototypes, vetted manufacturers, mapped regulatory compliance, and received major partnership offers and endorsement options. And last week, we completed our successful clinical trial run by Deakin University and the Western Health Partnership, which was a great milestone. The product has IP protection with an offer of partnership from the Australian Breastfeeding Association, which is the breastfeeding gold standard. And we're supported by a distinguished healthcare provider with a global export channel. So Lactimo has won some fantastic awards, which you've highlighted, Hayley, and got grant funding from the New South Wales state government. And it's really exciting to be on that Going Global program, facilitating the expansion into India in particular there. So we'll be launching soon, and it's great to be able to celebrate the support of communities and networking events like this that have helped to shape Lactimo's success. So coming back to the two themes that I mentioned at the start, firstly, the theme of barriers to scale. I think the most relevant barrier to scale that I've identified for Lactimo and have focused on overcoming was in establishing international relationships. And the way that I'm overcoming that is first by ensuring that all of my local presence is robust, and then by networking from there. And so I suppose one of the positive outcomes of COVID is that we've all been forced to learn how to build relationships and engage with each other across the globe without travel. And to an extent, I suppose that's actually helped me. But of course, I look forward to be able to travel again. I don't underestimate the value of that. But in the meantime, the relationships that can be formed remotely are so valuable. And I found amazing support, especially from women, in webinars like this. And it sounds like we at InQ it's the perfect example of another platform for people to come together and to collaborate in this way and to help each other. So whatever your barrier to scale is in a startup, it's important to identify it first and then to continuously and deliberately work towards breaking that barrier down. And I've found that really helpful. The other theme that I mentioned at the start was this year's International Women's Day theme of choosing to challenge. So Lactimo is a medtech product, and I didn't previously have specific industry experience in medtech, but I did have practical experience in breastfeeding all of my 4 children. And I think this personal attachment to my startup has been invaluable. I've had to roll up my sleeves and speak the language of injection molding, sandblasting, regulatory compliance, standards 13485, corporate GST. And even though that was initially taking me outside of my comfort zone, I believed in the product and the business, and I knew that the uphill climb was worth it. In particular, I remember I was in the green room for a medtech pitch and conference about 12 months ago, and I realized that I was the only one in the room with no medical qualifications, and I was in the minority being female. So I was nervous to go out on stage and present in front of 350 healthcare executives and C-suites, government ministers and pharmaceuticals. But I actually ended up winning the most prestigious award at the conference that night, and was also approached by the CEO of Australia's largest healthcare provider, who asked for Lactimo to be given to every baby in his hospital. So that proved to me that choosing to challenge myself outside of my comfort zone had no limits, and that any outcome in business is driven by the effort that you put into it. So I think there's never been a better time for women to push through barriers and to choose to challenge. And we need to carry on with the same spirit of all women that have made progress so far in breaking down those barriers, enabling us to do what we're doing today.
Thanks.
Right.
That's incredible. Your success is just incredible.
Yeah, we should give a applause here. Great to hear it. Thank you. It's been very inspiring, and we look forward to supporting and helping you scale as well, and help you break down some of those barriers and really make it more streamlined for you to be able to scale as well. And definitely, we've got partners in India to also support. Look forward to it. Thank you, Etta.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure now to introduce both. We have both the dynamic duo, Taylor D. Hawkins and Anna Beziglova as well. So Taylor as a World Economic Forum global leader, or global shaper, I should say, and Anna as a serial entrepreneur, leadership director of Future Frontiers. So Future Frontiers is a boutique consultancy, and I wish, again, I had this coming forward, and we must connect Taylor and Anna into the female entrepreneurs we're bringing out from India. This is going to be tremendous for them. They are all about enabling leaders and change makers to step into their success and create a true legacy through I guess, impact strategy, movement creating leadership, and a resonant message. So Taylor and Anna are here today to execute the strategy, the build of the brand, and curate the leadership. So over to Anna and Taylor to tell us a little bit more, and please, we'd love to hear about, just briefly a barrier point, and perhaps if we can help anything as well for you.
Well, number one, thank you so much for having us both. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, and the work that's being done with this initiative is awe-inspiring, and exactly why we've created Future Frontiers is to see things like this being created. And the India-Australia bridge is also very close to our hearts, with Anna being born in Hyderabad and our first ever client being from India as well. So we care deeply about building this bridge, and we think it's so important. And it's founders exactly like Etta and stories like that, which is why we created this organization, is to facilitate the creation of businesses that will actually make the world a better place, and are actually there to support people and be purposeful and be purpose-driven leaders. So I can't tell you how pleased I am that we got to go after Etta after such a purpose-driven leader. And the problem that we're solving is effectively, we're really hyper aware that the COVID and the current innovation leap that we're in as a world, and the technology that's being integrated, is going to lead to the creation of new leaders and new organizations and startups and enterprises taking new leaps into emerging industries. And we want to be there to support them in ensuring that they do that in a purpose-driven fashion. And ensuring that they have, the awareness of, I think it was Anil earlier mentioned, the interdependency of our world now. We need to be hyper aware of the ripple effects of how we choose to do business, how we choose to move through the world, and how we choose to lead. And so working with exactly those three categories that Tripti mentioned earlier, entrepreneurs, social activists, and leaders, we really do believe that we can make our most positive impact by supporting those people who are starting the businesses and equipping them with the ability to do so in a purpose-driven way that is sustainable. And I'll let Anna tell you guys a bit more about how we do that.
So my name's Anna. And so the world that we're really creating, Taylor and I are creating, is the world of more Ettas, the purpose-led leader who is world-aware, they're self-aware, and they're a conscious leader in whatever space they seek to occupy, and they're contributing positively to their communities. So they participate freely in the market, they're competitive, and they're using their creativity without exploiting the planet and people in the process. So in doing this, we're able to redefine what prosperity looks like in business, to be more aligned with a world that needs to be creation at every value, at every level, rather. And so the way that we're doing this is we have the trifecta: branding, strategy, and leadership. So Taylor is the strategic genius of this partnership. I bring in my previous agency experience, having worked in Los Angeles and Paris, and together we execute on the trifecta. And we really believe that that's what it takes in order to provide a comprehensive and strategic strategy for the purpose-led leader. These people are incredibly time poor. They are demanding of excellence. And so we've got that unique understanding of how agile we need to be in order to support the leader. And so we also have leadership workshops, because an innate part of stepping into leadership is that you're going to be challenged by teams. You're going to be challenged by cultural components and presentation and networking. And so we actually support the purpose-led leader to better refine themselves in the process so that they can really step up with confidence and really embody all that they wish to be. So that's what we're kind of doing. And then I'll throw over to Taylor as to who we're working with and what we're doing in the process right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So a core basis of how we select a lot of the clients that we work with is we're trying to make the chasm between for-profit organizations and not-for-profits smaller. Reduce it. If I can eliminate that chasm altogether, I will be very happy. If we can all be on the same team, that would be great. And so some examples of that are, we're working with an executive from SAP, which is a large multinational tech company who's looking to launch a business that promotes inclusion in leadership and promotes really designing your own leadership style. She's Nigerian born and really advances that notion that there should be inclusion in every boardroom. And so we get to support that purpose-driven leader at that really individual boutique level. And everything from to that and our larger scale projects, which take up a fair bit more time. We're currently working with the second largest retirement fund in Australia, who is funding us to run a youth campaign nationally, which will amplify the voice of youth to help us co-design the future of Australia, actively addressing issues like climate change and responsible business. So we really do span a very wide gambit of size of project, but it's selected based on the purpose and the impact that we believe that person can have. That client that I mentioned from SAP, Kike Abugande, she will make a huge impact because she's willing to be that brave leader who will step out and stand for women in that space. And we really believe in that mission, and similarly large scale missions as well. And that really brings me to the question that you posed, Hayley, which is what is a challenge that we have faced? And that is definitely scalability. I think Anna and myself, the reason we work together is we can create magic for a person by marrying strategy, leadership, and branding. And that is a hard thing to do
at scale.
So we actually are embarking on a 6-month tech development strategy for ourselves, which is how can we create diagnostic tools? How can we create ready-made toolkits and roadmaps and strategies for people that make it not only more scalable for us, but more accessible to emerging organizations in incredible markets like India, who are just starting up and want to design for purpose from the beginning, but maybe aren't flash for cash and can't be paying a purpose-driven consultant by hour. So that is both the barrier and the solution that we are working through at the moment. And we just are really excited to now be involved in this community and see how best we can support, just raising up female founders in this space.
Phenomenal. I think you've got the recipe right. It's how do we scale? And I think we've got to be looking at, resources we can duplicate, looking at AI. And I'm so pleased to hear you guys are going to scale because everyone needs to be purpose-driven. And I'm so glad you're on that mission. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to throw back to Malik.
Thank you again, Hayley. Thank you, Taylor and Anna. Great to hear. I'm really inspired from what I heard. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about the number of people I want to connect you with, which will supercharge your mission and also deliver the outcome. And of course, scaling in India, there'll be enormous number of, businesses and startups who will definitely benefit. So definitely look forward to, shaping that success story and the impact. One of the things which really resonated is that purpose-driven impact. And we need that. And we need that for humanity, for good. So definitely keen to support. And well done. And thank you for showcasing, your vision and, your mission ahead. And we're looking forward to working with our partners to shape those success stories with you, along with you. Thank you.
I would just compliment for bringing in 2 talented teams in front of us. And I mean, as we have launched Womennovator, in Australia, we'll be very happy to collaborate and support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. On that note, I want to welcome the Indian women entrepreneurs and founders who are already, have got their solutions. They're in the market. They are post-revenue. They are looking to scale. And both of them are based, I believe, in Bangalore or in that region. Let me welcome Parul Aghi. She's a co-founder of a company called Aerologics, comes from a strong aeronautical engineering background, obviously, when I saw her LinkedIn background and her CV, was just awed by her skills and the experience she's got. But again, she's come out of that pathway and created a startup with, again, a purpose. And of course, a purpose not only which India will benefit, but also globally, and of course, Australian market as well, supporting agri-tech and few other sectors as well. Parul, if I may invite you to share your story and your vision and your aspirations for Australia as well.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Irfan, for such a wonderful introduction. So I'm Parul. I'm co-founder of Aerologics. So we are mainly into agri-tech and forestry business. And yeah, as I already mentioned about my background, I was a missile design engineer. Then I have worked on different projects for the high altitude UAV platforms. After that, I have started this company, which is more into drones and related software. So here we are working as I mentioned, our main focus is in agri-tech and forestry. So in agri-tech, what we are providing is we are providing solutions from the scratch, where we do the mapping of the area, how the land looks like, what are the elevation level of that particular land. Based on that, we suggest the farmers what kind of crops they can sow in that area, and then we do the yield prediction and you do the disease prediction. All those few factors are there, which will help in in turn it will give you a better yield and better crop health as well. Then we do the pesticide spray based on the plant health. We do all the pesticides, fertilizers, and bioliquid spray in that particular area. And final, we can tell them to take the precautionary measures. We can help them with for the disease prediction. Next, for the forestry, what solutions we are providing is we are providing solutions in the afforestation. So we are doing the seed bombing solution, which is like a pressurized ejection mechanism, which will help in the afforestation for the forest departments. So we have already implemented this solution in India with the Karnataka Forest Department. And here what we are providing, we are providing the mapping, and we are giving them the reports for next 3 years, like what are the germination rates and how the trees are growing in that particular area. Especially we are focusing on the areas which are very hard for humans to go, especially like in the mountainous terrain and where it's inaccessible for the humans. So this solution is our proprietary solution we have developed. We are yet to patent this. So the solution generally which is available is they generally do the spreading, seed spreading. Even the manually they'll do the seed spreading or sapling sowing. But here we are doing the pressurized ejection, where the seed grows around 10 to 15 centimeter under the ground, which increases the germination rate of that particular seed. So now the things we have found here is the germination rate increased to almost 60 to 70% as compared to manual labor. And manually, they hardly do 1 or 2 hectare a day with the team of around 2 to 3 people, where with the drones, we can cover at least 30 to 40 hectares a day, depending on the area, which can go up to 100 hectares if it's a plain land. Yeah, so this is the kind of solution we are providing. As I was talking to Mr. Irfan and Mr. Dilip, how we can scale it up to Australia after that bushfire thing last year. But because of COVID, it was impacted a lot. So this year we are planning to do at least 1 pilot over there.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, not only the agri-tech supporting the existing agriculture, ecosystem, but also Australia being impacted and even US being impacted by bushfire. You have some amazing solution, which I know we are in early discussion with the government here in New South Wales. Definitely there's a huge scope, and it also creates a big impact as well. So thank you again, Parul, for sharing your story and showcasing your aspiration as well. And we look forward to here in Australia, the ecosystem here, to support you in achieving those outcomes. And definitely we'll look forward to getting you all connected with the women entrepreneurs ecosystem as well, so that they can provide the support, the network, and the support to kind of scale and launch as well. So thank you again, Parul, and well done with your presentation. Thank you. On that note, let me invite Madhavi Shankar. She's the CEO of Space Basic. She's also an Australian alumni, educated in Sydney, I guess, did her degree here and then went back. Has had a phenomenal startup journey as well, and being part of the startup ecosystem. But what she's curated something is in the tech or education service industry space, but something which has got phenomenal application globally, but definitely in the Australia and India space as well. So we're looking forward to really helping Madhavi and team to really scale into Australia as one of the next market and then scale globally as well. Welcome, Madhavi. On that note, over to you to share your story and showcase Space Basic and where you are and what your Australian aspirations are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Irfan. And thank you for this opportunity, more so because, I've been in Australia for about 5 years, worked there, studied there, and really started my startup journey too. I worked for a very early stage startup back in 2012. And I think that's where my love for startups really began. And, when I started Space Basic, and the reason behind why I started Space Basic was to kind of provide students that international experience that I had in Australia. So our goal at Space Basic is to really digitize student experiences, because I was able to draw clear differences in terms of experiences that I had back home and when I moved to Australia for my master's. So when I launched Space Basic in 2017, so a little bit about that. So Space Basic is a 100% women-owned company. My co-founder, Indu, based out of the US, a successful woman entrepreneur. I actually went to meet with her, as just to get her thoughts, and she said, "Yes, I'll be your mentor." And I just want to say that the whole, for me, my personal experience with women mentorship, we are my co-founder, and that ecosystem I think has been a very pivotal part of growing Space Basic to the heights that it has reached. So what we really do at Space Basic is we are one of India's leading student engagement platforms. We digitize student experiences by automating everyday tasks and everyday communication that happens within universities, schools, and their respective student housing communities in one workspace. So what we realized when we were building the MVP version of the product, we did a lot of due diligence. And when we did this due diligence, what we realized was a lot of universities and schools kind of resorted to manual processes for carrying out tasks. For example, it could be permissions, it could be registering, a maintenance request. Hi, sorry, I dropped out there. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah.
Okay, so things like maintenance requests or general communications or permissions or check-in, check-out, etc. Most of these tasks were pretty much via pen and paper or via verbal, and there was a lot of human intervention that was required. So what we realized is, we worked very closely with 3 pilot customers in 2017, and we were able to kind of have a beta launch of the product in 2018. And today, 3 years later, we're a cash flow break-even company. We work with around 70 universities, schools, and colleges across 6 cities here in India. And we at Space Basic cater to about 120,000 users. So we're digitizing their lives via technology. And what we realized during this process is, this solution is actually churns so much of data, because universities and colleges on day-to-day basis have so many tasks that are kind of recurring, and that there's so many touch points. So we decided to also launch what we call spacebasic.ai this year. So what we want to provide to universities and colleges is the ability for them to transition or transform this huge chunk of data they use into valuable insights or valuable information. Just to give you an example, it could be if students are checking in their cafeterias, we will be able to predict, insights and predictions of what is the average student walk-in rate, how much food is consumed, or at what periods food is consumed more. So the end goal, really under the underlining goal here, is to reduce errors, wastage, increase kind of cost savings, and also kind of automate and streamline a lot of processes that are very manually driven here today. So our major goal at Space Basic, or our mantra, we can say here, is to kind of reduce or almost do away with daily repetitive tasks for educators. We believe that's not the best use of an educator, staff, or administrator's time. So we are on a mission to automate as many of them as possible, because we believe that in this process, we'll be saving university schools a lot of time, money, and stress. But also, the more important thing is we'll be creating more time for them to focus on student success and what they really should be doing versus mundane, redundant tasks. So that's our goal with Space Basic. And in terms of scaling, really, what we see is, being or having studied in Australia, I see that in India we're going from pen and paper to digital, but in Australia, as I'm doing more research, what we realize is it's digital, but it's fragmented. So we want to kind of tie that up together. And we also want universities and schools to have the ability to make sense of the data that they churn in volumes every single day, and allow them to kind of give them insights or predictions or access to this information that they could use, in a way that they can benefit students as well as their internal operations. So that's really our goal with Space Basic.
Thank you, Madhavi, for sharing your story and your aspirations. I think as we have been talking recently, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And as we see post-COVID universities coming back to, the real operations, inviting international students, and even in India, physical access being provided to students. I think you have a great, potential to, scale. Not only even having a small, market size in India itself is a huge impact that you can create, but definitely in Australia as well. We look forward to really shaping a success story. Thank you again, Madhavi, for sharing your insights and your aspiration. Well done. Thank you, and look forward to shaping great successes for you as well. All right. Thank you all. I think we've gone about 10 minutes over, our session that we were planning, but again, it's what a great session we've had. I mean, I can't complain about the time. We've heard some amazing stories, amazing insights, amazing passion, vision, and also mission to accomplish as well. And it goes with this year's International Women's Day theme of choose to challenge. I mean, there is so many things across board we've shared here that we can challenge the way we see the world now, and with a view of the world that we want to see as well, and the vision that we have. And one of the things which, again, I want to from my heart say that supporting women entrepreneurship is supporting humanity for good, because women entrepreneurs have that heart as well as the mind as well when they shape successful entrepreneurial venture. And I'm someone, even part of InQ's core fabric, we've really championed equality, diversity, inclusivity, but also focus on UN's Sustainable Development Goals as well, the UN SDG goals, and having a vision of startup for purpose. And that's something which personifies, and women entrepreneurship is a great testimonial for, all those, shared vision we have for humanity for good. So it's been phenomenal to hear all of you, and thank you for being part of this platform, this showcase we've had. Great to launch we at InQ program. Looking forward to some great successes. Thank you, Kanishk, Michael, Janaki, and team. And we have a great team together, and we look forward to creating those impacts. And Womennovator Australia, Tripti and team, a great board you have, great support you have. Dr. Anil Ketanji, Pramodji and Blossomji. We really appreciate, and I look forward to you personally interacting a lot more as well with you and Tripti to shape success stories. And as Australia and India is coming more than more closer than ever before in trade and investment, there's great opportunity to leverage and support here. So thank you again for all your support, and the startup founders, Taylor, Anna, Etta, Madhavi, and Parul. Again, a round of applause. And again, thank you for sharing your story and showcasing your aspiration, and also highlighting some of those challenges that you want to address as well. So look forward to working with you closely. I also want to thank Haley, my co-curator, collaborator with this program from Sydney, and someone I spend a lot of time just brainstorming ideas and what we can do more in this space. So really, thank you for your support, and Christy, who's been probably working on other programs at Startup Hub as well. You guys have been great and an inspiration for all of us, all ecosystem players to really leverage and work with you as well. Thank you again. Also want to recognize and thank Goldie George, who's part of InQ Innovation in Cochin. She's been a silent player. She's the community manager, but she's been a brain behind pulling this all together as well. So thank you, Goldie. Definitely want to recognize your role and support in making this successful. Also want to thank Sarah from Austrade, Catherine, Ashwini, Aditi, Sangeeta, the whole team. The Austrade Indian team is phenomenal. I mean, if I were to give a plug-in, a phenomenal team as a strong ally, as a strong sounding board and a support partner as we help both Australian Indian companies to scale across these ecosystems. So definitely leveraging a strong Women Austrade network is also a key for the success of our program. So definitely wanted to give a plug-in and thanks to all of them. I also want to thank my partners in India, Dilip and Ashutosh, Kanishk and team as well, who've been obviously working closely with the startups and also our ecosystem partners. I want to thank and recognize our ecosystem partners, Womennovator, Thai Bangalore, Incubate Ind, which is a great platform. Rohit and Puneet and team, we're looking forward to really launching you here, but also leveraging you across these programs as well. So thank you to you all. T-Hub, our ecosystem partner in Hyderabad, one of the largest ecosystem. We'll definitely be leveraging their support as we curate some of these market access programs across Australia, India. Kerala Startup Mission, our co-ecosystem in the state of Kerala. Phenomenal support for women entrepreneurs through that ecosystem, and some great startup stories that we would love to scale. And our partner here in Australia, Tankstream Labs, where I'm located here and based here now, and the Sydney Startup Hub as well, who've been all phenomenal in providing support, and I look forward to shaping further collaborative exercise. I also want to recognize the Gender Park, who put in an amazing program earlier in the year in February with the International Conference on Gender Equality. It was an amazing event, and they've got a lot of program, and I saw a great support from the Australian Ambassador for Gender Equality as well for their program. So look forward to shaping some success stories as well. I think Taylor and Anna, there's a great association with them for you because that's a global proposition, and you will definitely make an impact as well. Look forward to shaping those successes as well. On that note, I think I'm really, my energy level probably during the day was very low, but going through the session, I mean, both the heart and the mind, and all the neurons and all the positive energy that's been induced into me. I'm really inspired by the successes I can see, the vision, the shared vision all of us have. And again, really thank you all for being part of this program and this journey together as well. Thank you again, and stay safe, stay tuned for more as we launch these programs and reach out to you and seek your continued support for these successes. Thank you, and namaskar, namaste, and we'll wrap up the session on that note. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.